That's a great idea.
Clear stuff. Then I went to craft beer, but those are like 5 million calories and like 6.5% now.
Yeah, it tears out your esophagus and it hangs you with it.
Yeah, they taste great.
They
So
taste great.
now I'm kind of back to Miller Lite, which is nice and easy, a little lower percentage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a big filter phase. Tell you about that. White Claw. I
Okay.
changed my Instagram to White Claw Jake for a couple years. I should have kept it. It's actually not a bad name.
White Claw Jake.
Test.
Yeah.
Wow.
Test. Hello.
Well, that's cool. Do you still have the place down? No, I shut it down with COVID. Okay. Yeah, that took a real 8-9 grand waiting a year just to figure out if I'm gonna be able to operate right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because nobody knew at the time. Yeah, and
JD.
And Chicago was just
One of the brokers.
real
invasive cantankerous.
Yeah.
Owning a business in Chicago, particularly a bar business or a restaurant. My experience is it's like, you know, those school of fish that they're kind of running around in a circle and the sharks come through and just take out whatever they can. I feel like one of those fish.
A lot of us feel maybe it won't be me.
Yeah.
But it could be me.
In the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, my impression is like the level of regulation.
Dude, we are at a way to scan, sign in, that'd be awesome.
I mean, I don't quite know what else to
do
do it. It's a lot. It's a whole say, you know.
Down in Florida,
Right,
right,
right.
a lot of people that are about the West and others.
Yeah.
Canada.
How'd it go?
And we're battling worse storms. You Canadians.
Really?
Good.
Like, you know,
Right, no, that's totally good.
but it's the same, the grinds, right?
Look at Ryan's up a half.
That surprises me a little bit.
Oh, you're big time in this now? I saw you're on some private plane. Story.
Little PJ in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's just some developers.
It's a great
That's a cool setup though.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Gonna
is.
get in the room to. Gonna get in the room.
Yeah, it is, it does seem like it's just a lot.
There's a
Like,
land
there's
wholesaler
gotta be,
that was there, 21 years old, on track.
I think it's become so big,
He's doing something about it.
again, 1 year of observation, less than.
Gotta get him in there.
Your thing, brother.
Have it there the whole time.
Where you can
Bernie.
actually
How's it going?
perform and touch, like, it's so.
Yeah, I know.
You're on time, my friend.
It's this dense,
You're here.
intertwined.
Yeah, I can show you. I guess we can do it after too.
The minute it.
Okay.
I think you
So I can show you now.
was calling it a.
Yeah, it's
Really
Recording in
is
progress.
how-
I'll come over here. Sit next to you. Show you.
Because it's just a fun way of each other.
Good. Also,
There's
this
a
is.
takes on energy.
Falls in the air right.
Heating the of there's a society, all of those and top.
So.
There's so many layers.
It's a lot, it is a lot.
Oh, that's.
But-
Show them. It's great.
Where do you begin?
Where we really? That.
Like in my life,
It was better.
Yeah, it never seems.
Hello. Hello.
One big tipping point.
Yes, I was just grabbing.
That's where it'll probably
Hard.
I thought
Throwing it
that
out.
had
If you go to the listing, you can. Put the prices, it'll pre-fill a lot of information.
some of that stuff. It came from a good intent, right? But
Well, not from everybody, but.
not from everybody, but many of the things did come with it. But then it just becomes part of it.
Welcome to Zoom.
And it was never.
Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
This is kind of, and I have a take on once at a time, I thought it was a very much. Compliant, not just. But also believe with what they were saying.
Yeah.
And it's slowly eroded by.
Yeah.
Sure.
And no one's.
Sorry, so it's supposed to be.
You know, it cost me a lot, almost everything.
All right, so.
And no one's accountable for that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that's a
synagogue, church.
And you're not the only one. I mean, for you, you feel it acutely, but I'm sure that you're not the only one in that situation.
Yeah, and there are others that.
I'm nice to see you.
It wasn't
Thanks,
that.
I'm going in late. Good mind, this side.
That let our good prices go to waste.
Yeah.
So run the manuals.
Yeah, and he's right. Perversely, but right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with the models, but Chicago really is like. Different level.
It was, some things that, yeah.
It's gonna get. So it's sustainable.
Yeah.
What's up, Bernie?
Morning. Where are you sleeping in the back room?
Yeah, because I don't think it
Who's sleeping? Rolled up in the sun.
want to get bigger on time.
Okay.
Good for you.
No, should that. Better way is to go up here. And well. And then we'll discuss and actually listen to history, back and forth.
Sit on this side.
I'll be able to see.
Right.
Oh, let me come back. Your last time I was the whole summer.
Yeah.
And I might have sometime in spring. It all depends on
Yeah.
if you,
Right. Creating a folder.
if you, like I don't say. So I'm here also. But like commercial license. So since they've kind of accumulated all this stuff, I'll see what's on the show. I'll come and I'll knock this stuff out.
What's that?
Like that right now?
What? Email?
You agree with it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Take the draw.
Could be.
At least.
Could be me.
Sometimes.
I didn't hit send just now, so it might have been automated.
Business brokerage up here.
Probably should go, all right.
The standard.
Make it back to you on Monday about those concerts.
Oh yeah, no worries, no rush.
Lights. Fun week, right? Fun month.
In a good way.
I think there are definitely from to Midway, I think, yes, Southwest.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily the cheapest, but
You don't have to change.
yeah, I typically will fly out of Tampa.
You up to town. Yeah.
But yeah, I should like look more, like the tickets are, it's kind of not really. I just haven't found the comparisons. Yeah, it's like a couple $100.
I would imagine. I mean, Sarasota is a much smaller airport. I don't even know how many
Yeah.
how many airlines fly.
Yeah, it's very, but I can see it being very, like I will probably need it.
But basically.
Yeah.
It takes Southwest or something because it's,
I've never.
I mean, it's in and out, both of the airports are small.
Yeah. 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 And the traffic can be bad.
Traffic, you could be stuck, you want to be. You want to make sure you have. The bridge,
Yeah.
anything, you know.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, because you're just stuck. But that's like, there's literally, unless you jump off the bridge, there's nothing you can do.
You feel like.
That bridge is quite something
Yeah.
to behold. I mean, it is, first time I drove across that bridge, I was a little nervous, honestly. It's like,
Still going up. It's like-
yeah, how is this standing up? But it's
You guys up
beautiful.
here?
Come on over.
How we doing? Cody.
Totally deep.
Good to meet you. Scott, how
How
you
you
doing?
doing? Oh,
Hey, what's that?
You want to come back?
Check out, 68 Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
yeah, so that bridge,
Yeah, I have a friend that actually, you know, I don't get freaked out by it,
Good place, a
but
little small.
I still get freaked out by it, like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I hear we're talking Sarasota, Tampa?
Yeah.
You're in Ashland, it wasn't Chapel Hill.
Starting to file in.
So I.
Frequent there.
So we have.
I avoid Clearwater at this point. I'm going to Sarasota.
Good call.
They got good people.
That's going.
Clearwater, I mean, those beaches are nice, but like the town.
It's a tourist trap. Oh, it is.
It's getting kind of.
The local residents.
No,
The local.
no, the local residents, I would say because.
Hey, Monica. What's up, Joe?
Oh, Rob,
It's a good word.
They got it?
they buy up all the commercial. real estate.
That's what I.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how you doing?
If they leave it vacant.
Yeah, 'cause they just want to, they're not concerned.
You know, plastic.
But the town is losing revenue and taxes. 501c3.
Right, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
so they're always,
So the tax goes to.
yeah, and now they've taken over the city council too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
51%.
It's right, it's our somebody sent.
Sunbelt.
So.
Sunbelt.
Yeah.
So,
Last time.
you know,
You're right.
It is.
You a lot.
and it's getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah, yeah.
On Instagram. Videos.
Yeah, yeah.
The last time I was there in May.
Yeah.
It was like exactly that.
Yeah.
And it just,
Got, interesting. What was that? It's just what it is, rehab.
a lot of empty buildings, a lot of dead streets, a lot
Yeah.
of big imposing buildings.
And
And then these amazing like.
Yeah.
And sculpture.
Yeah. Perfect. What's the art? Remodel. Yard.
Yeah, my grandmother lived on Spring Hill growing up, so Clearwater was already stopped.
What's up, Jonathan?
I grew up here. I spent plenty of time down there though, every summer. Pretty holidays, my parents lived down there for times, so.
Yeah.
But Weston Chapel, when they moved down, was all farmland.
Yeah, farmland, yeah.
Wow,
And now you go down there.
all developed.
Oh,
Yeah, friend of mine over here that we
Yeah.
can see travel.
Yes, beautiful outside. Very excited about rehab as.
He's like, I'm in farmland. Like I went to visit him last, what, 2 years ago. He lived about 8 years too, and
And
there
so,
wasn't.
Understanding
Lot of
from,
things.
contractors, how they see.
That
rehab.
matters.
Definitely.
You've seen that in Sarasota. You get good management.
Is that right? Yeah.
Every corner has an apartment complex going on.
That's a critical part.
A gas station, a car wash. In house, you know.
Liquor store, vape shop.
My mom was at a med end on what, 56 or 54, she was on the dead end. It was all
It
wooded,
depends on the.
and they built a road going through towards the plant city.
And then Jonathan.
Just a.
Just neighborhoods on both sides. On the right side, I think they started like 800s, on the left side, like 400s. It's just not developed. So,
Yeah.
I do,
where'd you go?
Tokyo.
No, it's my first time. I'm dying,
You've never been there. I mean, I should next. It's really far. It's,
My girlfriend went, I was staying for a restaurant. Like $5 house.
in Japan, Tokyo, yeah.
Japan, they're I live in there, literally, every time we talk, she's like, when are we going back to Japan?
Going.
I mean,
I have not heard people bad things.
it's like the bad thing about Japan.
Yeah, what is it? I didn't hear one
The
either.
bad thing about, so I was a teacher.
Really?
You lived there?
Yeah.
Why?
In Miami.
So I lived there for 6 years, and the last time I was there was 2006, and I've been back. Basically, you know how it is when you look at a place and you see it 20 years later without running day to day, like you're with work. Problem with Japan, two things the problem with Japan. One is there are
You've been back since.
and there is, I would because of the demographic. There's not many tax folks
Last winter.
working And takes care of, they sell more adult diapers than baby.
We love that.
And so.
Yeah.
Economy is.
Good to see you.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
government's debt.
That's all,
There's
yeah.
zero animation.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
Animation, no.
I didn't
No,
understand.
no animation needed.
Couple of
Second
times.
thing is,
Well, he's like, Jonathan.
they've started.
No, yeah,
They'll do that next time.
but, that's all we control is expressing.
Perfect.
What's going on? You been traveling?
Everything.
Really?
And so.
Busier than ever?
I don't know, Nick feels good, we're trying to put the next door, next door place. Which Mag probably gonna put an offer in like. And I was very generous. Just everything. Trying to as well.
Which is good, right? Work is good, double.
Yes.
I mean,
When I can't focus on outside of work stuff, with main work stuff.
yeah.
Levels, but it's a constant juggling. But we'll get it done.
So are you traveling more than usual? Not necessarily.
It's just more my time is just taken.
Like, when I'm traveling.
I don't know if I told you, I'm also leading my
The real people.
Oh,
so like.
because you're pretty much down south.
Everywhere you go, oh, yeah.
There was three guys. But everyone's up
Yeah.
north.
No,
It's great.
it's the same way.
But the issue is
Increasingly, that's a little bit.
putting the
More and more people.
effort behind work. I'm juggling it.
It's like,
So.
it's like herding cats. That's how
I agree. I agree.
that's why I talk about subcontractors, like.
I believe it.
Yeah, so what's up with what's up with the house next door? Does it need some work?
So I lived there in 2006.
Right.
You went in.
It's a smaller footprint. It's only like,
Right.
800.
Okay.
Basement, each level. It's a 2 unit, so,
About one.
the Northwest ordinance, keeps us, as two. I'm familiar with it, but
Yeah.
be converting until
Right.
2029. And then by 2029, hopefully they don't vote on it.
Let alone in 2000,
But my
2022,
plan
2024.
is to get in, take the first level, second level, make it like 1 unit, make the basement,
Money.
make the basement its own unit. Maintain the 2 units, and then we'll reinvestigate by 2029, see if we can, to be converted, then we can actually add the basement into our.
And you want the single family like that? Yeah.
That is my goal,
Yeah.
yes, so, I mean.
Well, my
even if we
girlfriend from
make it-
Cyprus.
When we renovate it, the basement,
Yeah.
it's like, we still have no plans on this, it'll just be still.
Got it.
Until.
Just a white box or whatever.
There you go, yep, it checks out the box for the city, I guess.
You can learn Doha.
But with her plans.
Well, the wedding we had to go to was in Oslo.
Well, yeah, when we can come take a look at it, let me know.
Well, so actually, we look at this,
Okay.
I do have a estimate, looking at it for me, because I'm gonna take the lead on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I think it's like, I told her.
how else can I help them?
It may come with.
I'm gonna travel.
So I'm going in to get the Jesus.
I'm soaking it in. It's.
You're getting the GC license. Oh, good.
Yes.
Dude, well, then, yeah, well, I mean, all you need is some money and that's it, right? Like, in your insurance.
And so if and insurance, yes, so my goal, I wanna cut my teeth on this first, I'd rather work on something that I didn't, make sure I can get on. Obviously, it's not my perfect process. I'm confident to be able to navigate. Like that.
Well, and if you're right next door, I mean,
Correct.
there's a total game changer, right? I mean,
That's what, and I was grilling this guy. I was like, "Hey, you ready? He was like, "You know what? I need, let's get it done." So,
nice.
yeah, timing just worked out. We were trying to get the renovation done. All the builders helped us with, and so as I was breaking down, I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, let's talk about it." I hate the politics. I'm like, "Oh."
And he's in, or you don't know yet?
He's, like I said, he's giving me my first crack at it. We did a walk yesterday. So I'm trying to keep it off.
Yeah. Architect wise,
Don't have one yet. That is the next step, yeah.
yeah.
So as soon as,
Yeah, I really want to make sure you guys get in touch with the architect even before you put in an offer too. Like, just redouble check zoning, redouble check what you can and can't do. Like you just, yeah, if you talk to Samuel, he'll definitely guide you.
it was this Indian guy.
Prashant, yeah. No, that was Prashant. Who would also be great. Yeah, Samuel might give you a little more information on just like the zoning, whatnot, and like can and cannot do, but yeah, both of them are good. Like, I mean, I'm using Prashant right now.
All part of the game, wasn't it?
All part of the game.
Little bit, yeah.
It's nice. It's first nice like Saturday, I feel like, right? I mean,
Everybody's out playing.
yeah. Or they play back at night.
And I think the rain's pretty cleared off the radar, like.
Yeah, the rain.
Tucker, are you actually gonna give us an 80-degree day now? We can enjoy it.
I think so. I think that's
I've always wanted.
You know, if you wanna look at those market, bro.
Her baby's not sick, but she didn't have someone to watch her. So I was like, yeah. I mean,
Sorry, yeah. New construction. A lot of land, like, snow, there's no. The realtor was like, I have 14 developers asking pretty much to do a house and they're selling 2.5 acres next to it. Sell the house and see if they want to.
Hello, hello. 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 Hello.
That was my first time down there. There was new candy flash at him. I would assume, yeah. I said, the $9.5 million house. That would be on the market.
Hello, hello, hello,
I didn't ask. It was like our average stays on market, and this price target is like 50 days.
hello, hello, hello.
So like we're staging 2.5, 3, $4 million houses.
Hello.
65 days, we get like, hey, we got
Hello,
something
hello?
under contract. Hoping it's gonna go through. That's 3 bells.
I see that.
This one is. But the baseline should.
Our higher end price ranges, obviously, are gonna take a lot of. We just staged it in construction, it's been up for like 45 days. Offers now. I think like the last where.
Hello?
Hello? Anything like the surroundings, so even like we just live on a gurney. 2 days after initial 20K over less on gurney. Right, so I think there's a growing market for people on the outskirts of the city. I need to go to the office 1 or 2 days a week, so I want to be relative, but I want space. Plus you have that big age group of, I'm getting married, I'm starting to have kids that are out of the city, but I still work here. So, a lot of people I went to high school with, like, be in, like, relative.
That's I know he built the lights. I know he built the lights.
Hello, 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 hello. Oh yeah, you just need to stand here and see if I walk over there to see if you see it, like, see if you see it really working on my name.
I think Earthmore's gonna see a lot of growth. I think it's already seen some growth, but I don't know what it's.
Yeah, you have to be looking close.
Nothing happened
Here,
at all.
you see that mic is moving?
Oh,
Not here, see this mic is moving.
got you. Okay. Yep, it's working.
Jake, how's business for you, brother?
Great.
You had some buyers last time, right? Shopping for?
Yeah. This one worked. This one did not. Yeah, out in the good old Belgium.
Belgium?
Yeah. Yeah, we finally got a place under contract. It's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Dude, every place is like, it costs. Dude, I didn't know the suburbs were like this. We put an offer on the place in West County, and in the same day, maybe they had it a little underpriced. It's just crazy. I didn't know the birds were like that. This was in West Dundee. I had some buyers in Malaysia. We got, and I had a listing in the South.
Popping off, dude.
It's been busy, yeah. I guess I don't want to be a suburb guy, but gotta go where
We
things.
don't want to be suburb people either.
Gotta go where things are at. Gotta go where the leads are at.
Right. Yeah, post out one on Thursday. 55, Reno, 168.
Oh, JD, your head's like right in the camera. Maybe you can go to the other side.
Not bad. I didn't see that there.
All right, you ready?
It's ready.
On this guy?
Yep.
That's our centralized.
Let's test.
All right, we're gonna get started, everybody.
I might also have, yeah.
donuts and coffee over there, as always. But thanks for coming in. Chicago Cashflow Breakfast Club. Everyone's getting settled in. I love it. I'm Jake. This is Jonathan. We are missing our other leader, Judith, today. She's got some kids stuff going, but I think she's online with us, so she'll be back next month. But welcome to Chicago Cashflow Breakfast Club. We're super excited everyone's here. Got some awesome content as usual today, so we'll slide through it. But shout out to our coffee sponsors. They are back in that mug over there. Indy Kenya. Indy Kenya is a nonprofit coffee company that donates to a village in Kenya with all the proceeds. They help build a school and put a well in the town. So great coffee also, but if anyone wants to donate to that cause, find us afterward. We'd be happy to set that up.
You can also purchase coffee
You can also purchase coffee.
for $20.
$20.
Yep.
So, but the proceeds again go to Village in Kenya, so we're happy to be partnered with them for sure.
All right, yeah, we also have our sponsors. I think we said this last time, but we have ARK Attorneys, who is now Fulcrum Lawyers. So you guys need an attorney. Emron, my close friend, is a great guy. And then we also have, who's here? Aaron's here.
Aaron's here.
Aaron's here. Aaron, you want to stand up? Give yourself a shout out.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. Basically, I'm a real estate CPA, so I do taxes and tax advisory for real estate investors. So if you need help with taxes and trying to game that out, happy to help.
All right, yeah. Brick House CPAs. Yes, sir.
You do escalating depreciation and categories.
Like cost segregation studies. I have many people that I work with that can do that, but not an engineer. Hardest thing probably.
So yeah, Aaron's with Brick House CPAs, just getting up and going, right? So things have been going really good. So yeah, reach out to him. He's definitely a good person I've known for a long, long time. Same with everyone else on this list. We've really vetted, qualified these people. Like we just didn't go ask and find random people. These are all people that we've worked with probably for the last 5 or 6 years that we know, like, and trust. Otherwise, we wouldn't have them up there. So we have Josh Jones with Loan Depot, Mark Ainley with GC Realty, Sam Rose with Rose Insurance, and Eric Workman with Renewable Financial.
Okay, and so we'll just do some intros on our leaders here. So this is Judith. She's an active real estate broker. You guys have probably all seen and met her. She does real estate here in the city. Also works a lot in Northwest Indiana. For anyone that's looking to get some Northwest Indiana help, she will be back with us next week. We miss her dearly. That's me, Jake Leisure. Nice to meet you guys. If I haven't met you before, I work with a lot of investors here in Chicago and actually all over, a little bit of suburb work as well. But happy to help and provide any analysis or just any insights for anybody that needs some. But that's
We're gonna start calling you Suburb Jake.
no.
Just because you don't want to go to the suburbs, we're gonna start promoting you
We
with
grew up
more
in the
business in the suburbs.
The family out there and happy to help them.
Yeah, that's me, Jonathan Clem, for anyone who doesn't know me. And that's kind of what I do. My background is mainly in renovation and a ton of random investments across the Chicagoland area. That's more about who I really am, which is what I try to focus more on than what I do. And so I always just like to give that shout out that, yeah, it's always more important to think about who we are than what we do. And yeah, we had Discord. I don't think anyone's using it. I switched the slide back out to Facebook because we are trying to re-promote the Facebook group and get it more active again. So if you're not in the group, we are trying to actively re-engage in it. And so, yeah, if you can join, great. I'm going to be in there weekly, daily. Yes, sir.
Instagram too?
Instagram as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have Instagram as well. Although we can't get access to our Instagram account because the one lady who is doing it, I don't remember her name.
Kane.
Yeah, Kane. I haven't got a hold of her
Moved to
to
Florida with the
get our
fiance.
account back. So we have one, but it's kind of on hold right now. Yeah. But we can find it. We just can't
Dean's down
update
there.
it. Oh, yeah, you can find her literally.
Where's Florida State? Is in Tallahassee? I think that's where she went. I think her fiance is in school there or something, if I remember right. So this is our disclaimer we do every time. Again, this is a space we want to bring real estate investors together to share ideas, knowledge, help each other find deals, partners, financial freedom. We are not attorneys. We are not tax folks. We know an attorney. We know a great tax guy, but we don't give legal advice. And so that's our disclaimer. Please don't sue us. So a lot of times we have a lot of information at these events that goes quickly or might seem complex. What we really want to do is distill that down so everyone in the room can understand it. So if you have questions, shout them out, raise your hand. We'll certainly pause. We want to make sure everybody in the room is going at the right pace and knows what we're talking about. So if you feel overwhelmed, don't feel bad, just raise your hand. Oh yeah, I think I did the disclaimer notice early, but that's the disclaimer notice. Here's a sweet pick that we had, and we should probably take another one today. Sometimes we forget to do that, but we like to take group picks because we got a great group. All right, do you want to do the member spotlight? I think you
Yeah.
actually run that.
We have the members spotlight right here.
Yeah. We've got a
Jerome
great
and
one.
Leanne. Please give them a round of applause, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need a mic, pretty
It's
loud.
projecting while we're
Uh.
over here.
Over
Yeah.
here.
You can vote if you want. This one,
Morning, everybody. So my name is Leanne. This is my husband. Excuse me. My husband Jerome. We joined the Breakfast Club literally a year ago. Our first meetup was May of last year, so it was year anniversary.
Yeah.
About 7 years ago, we purchased a home in Logan Square, a 2-story worker cottage. At the time, we were just dating, and my boyfriend had this crazy idea of saving money to purchase a multifamily home, start house hacking, and start getting into the real estate business. I was in my early 30s, terrified me. Still kind of scary, but here we are. So yeah, 2019, we got in right at the right stage for our neighborhood. Interest rates were still great. It wasn't quite the, 1% 2020. Yeah.
What's a workers cottage?
It's a classic style Chicago home. There's multiple ones. Some of them are a little smaller. Ours is a 2-story one. So it's a wood, A-frame wood, basic two flat home. So two units of 2-bed, 1-bath with an attic where we have no basement. So we don't have to deal with sub pumps, which is very nice. Purchased for $400,000 using an FHA loan. Personally, we would never recommend that route for anyone who has good credit, but live and learn. And we had a tenant at the time. There was a tenant that was in the building. We were brand new to the game, and after what the selling real estate realtor had told us, decided to let him stay. We don't have to look for a tenant. Sounds great. It was not. The rent that was coming in was only $1,200, so it was pretty low, but it still made our responsibility a lot smaller. So at the time, we were just paying $1,800. Click. There we go. About a year in, we realized that there was a lot of behaviors from the tenant that we weren't quite comfortable with, and decided to honor the lease, but decided not to move forward, which is absolutely within our legal right to do. Did not go over well. He ended up overstaying the lease, very combative. We had to go through a full eviction during COVID, which wasn't easy. But we were able to.
Yeah.
We did it.
Across the whole time, but it was successful.
Yeah.
And it was in our favor.
We did it, and there was a lot of neglect, and the place just completely needed a cosmetic rehab. There wasn't any big damage, but needed to be upgraded. So here I have some pictures of just what it was before. This is not how we found it after he left, I will say that, but just outdated, right? And then you feel just kind of a messy backyard. So we're you know what? He's out. It's COVID. We have a ton of money saved up. Let's just do this renovation. So the renovation we did mostly DIY. We hired a couple contractors to do tile work and a little bit of structural stuff, but again, fully personally financed. We were able to tap into some 401k loans. So you're essentially paying yourself back, which is pretty nice, instead of a bank. But it took a long time. It took over a year, $50,000. So on the cheaper end, but time-wise and stress-wise was through the roof.
If I can chime in on that, the taking over a year, construction is not my full-time job. I work for Bridgestone and Firestone Tires, so I've got a full W-2 job that I'm trying to do at the same time, as well as
renovate, help. And I'm not doing large portions of the renovation. It's like, covering up exposed ductwork, with framing and drywall, doing the trim all the way around, but I'm doing it all by myself.
And
So it's
learning
great
how to do it.
And learning at the same time. So that's what took so long.
So pretty tough, but by the time it was all done, it was well worth it. So this is our after picture. It's now bright, looks clean and fresh. And we took about 3 months to get a renovation. Yeah, the backyard was that project, loved it. I still have a Excel draw up of our design and it looks just like that. So pretty proud. But we took some time, like 3 months to vet a tenant. It was in the winter, a little slower, but we were gonna take our time, especially after what we went through. We wanted to find the right person who was gonna be clean, pay rent on time, and be polite. And we found one. She was great. And once she was in, as you can see here, like the post renovation rental cost or rental price was $2,000. And so then our financial commitment just drops. So now we're only having to pay $1,000 to live in Logan Square at the time. The neighborhood is just continuously changing and getting better and better. So it worked out. And we thought, okay, we can like kind of hang out and chill with this for a while and then eventually renovate the other unit. Eventually happened, unfortunately, very fast. So this is what happened about 2 years after the first renovation. The reason we needed to do this was our tenant started complaining of leaking in her bathroom, in the ceiling. And when we opened up to do some repairs, we see that some person in the past cut into support joists in order to make room for pipes. That was our reaction. It was not great. And there was a gap like this big, right, between our floor and our baseboard. We watched that gap grow month after month. It was mortifying. We were literally terrified that our bathroom was gonna fall into our first unit. So we had to talk with our tenant, and she was in a transitional phase in her life, going from corporate to a creative, and she was planning to move back home to the suburbs anyways. So we parted amicably and then jumped into a rehab again. So we moved out. But what we had learned was through the like blood, sweat, and tears of the first one, we're not doing this on our own.
We didn't move out, we moved downstairs to the first unit and renovated. So we're saving some more money.
The easiest move I've ever done.
Yeah.
But this time we decided we have more work to do. There's some big structural stuff we have to handle, and we're not doing this ourselves. And so we decided to outsource. And so for this one, we used different financing. We actually did a HELOC and were able to get a line of credit, which just gave us more than enough to get the renovation job done. We vetted multiple contractors, at least 3, and ultimately decided to go with Quality Builders with Jonathan, which is how we came to like know all you lovely people at Cashflow. So this was full service. We did nothing but deal with a lot of noise. He was very involved, still like wanting to know like the ins and outs. But as you can see, like that's the bathroom, like pretty much down to the studs to fix someone else's mistakes. This was much faster, took half the time, more than half the stress, but almost 3 times as much. So there's a cost benefit, and depending on your level of stress and your time, so nice to outsource. Anything to add?
No.
So
Also in that
okay.
renovation, we did exterior as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah,
we did a lot of exterior.
We did the exterior. Yeah.
Got a question? Yes.
Question, yeah. So your financing, you say that you bought in 2019?
Mhm.
Yes.
So what was your FHA interest rate for the primary?
3.6.
3, yeah.
I think it's 3.62.
And then for the HELOC?
Very.
Oh, that's in 7s.
It's not great, but it's, instead of doing a full refinance to touch the rest of our loan, we're like, leave that alone.
Yeah.
So, and we're working towards, obviously we're just paying the interest now on the HELOC, but the goal is to like just pay that off within the 10 years before everything really kicks in.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot, but there's just so many this is a good member spotlight, I guess, for today's main topic is like every renovation we've done, we're using different kind of financing. There's so many options out there. Some are better than others, and depending, I know a lot of people here are veterans and have access to like amazing VA loans. We don't have that, so we're like, figuring out other ways to do it. So this is some pictures of the final product. Again, it's bright. It looks different. I didn't want to do like the exact same. Really happy with how it turned out. So now we have another tenant upstairs. So my tenants always get to live in the nicer places. I guess that's just part of the game. But she is paying $2,200, and so again, our responsibility is even lower. So now $800 is what we have to pay like for our full mortgage. But the goal now that we're working towards now is moving out of this current building, renting out both units. At that point, it will be at least over $4,000 coming in, which will pay for the mortgage, pay for the HELOC, and a little bit of contingency to have like repairs and things like that. Yeah, anything you want to add?
No, you've got it all.
Good cash flow.
Yeah,
We're
it
working
took a
on it.
while-
We're trying.
It took a while to get there. It was very frustrating. You gotta be patient.
Yeah.
Going through all of it takes a lot of patience because this house is 133 years old and it's gonna throw everything at you that you least expect. And so you've got to have some patience. You also have to have a little bit of money or access to money to address those minor hiccups as they keep coming up.
Yeah, just last weekend, our clay waste pipe gave us issues, so that was fun.
Yeah.
So
So I had to dig through that floor in that basement unit that we live in right now.
There was also some like issues with the permits and electrical stuff that really frustrated Leanne at the very
Let
end.
that out for me.
So he
Added on so much more time than we.
he mentioned patience. I have none. So
I'm the patient.
he's the patient one, and I have to just deal. Jonathan has seen me in my frustration. Yeah. Hey.
So earlier you said that you bought it for 200,000 with FHA.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, so
Ugh.
if you could do it again, why would you?
Oh, I will. I'm so angry about that. So.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The question. Yeah, the question was like I mentioned. I would never suggest someone doing an FHA loan if they have good credit, and she asked why. So now we're looking to purchase a new home, a single family, and so we were talking to a few lenders, and the information's always out there, but some people decide when, and who to share it with. So we talked with a lender, and she was saying, in our mind, you go with an FHA because if you do a traditional loan, you have to put down 20%. Someone told us that's not the case. That is not the case. And an FHA loan, while you do have to pay, a lower down payment, they tack on a huge fee. So, and put it into your loan. So you end up paying a lot more in the long run anyways. So you're basically getting
The
screwed.
fee is the private mortgage insurance. It's
So,
PMI.
well, the PMI, and there was another one.
I was gonna
I
ask.
see you being like,
As a lender, mortgage insurance for FHA is for the life of the loan, so.
Right.
No matter, unless you refinance out, you have to pay
Yeah,
that mortgage
that's
insurance.
one
If you
too,
do a
yep.
Traditional loan, the mortgage insurance drops off once you hit
Mm-hmm.
8% loan to value.
So that's why we're saying go traditional loan
Yeah.
instead of
So
FHA.
what's the effective interest rate? If you wrap up the.
I don't. That I don't.
That I don't know.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten one yet. But we just know that we won't.
So you have your mortgage, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And then you have this additional insurance aspect of it.
Yeah,
So that amount, if you.
like
put
add
that
it to the
into a mortgage
interest.
calculator,
Yeah.
And you solve for interest rate, you can get your effective.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's a good
So,
point.
and
Yeah.
I think it's good for you guys to know that, because interest rates are still higher than whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
And an FHA loan is assumable. So you might be able to even sell this property at higher than per square footage cost to everybody else, because they'll assume your mortgage.
With the lower interest
Oh,
rates.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So
That's good to keep in
it might
mind.
Still work out.
Okay.
In the long, yeah. We're planning to hold on to this place for a day. Well,
No less than 10, 15 years.
it changes on how
Yeah.
we're feeling about the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the moral for that story is like, if you have good credit, a lender should not be pushing you into an FHA, because you can still do as low as 5% down. You have a PMI for a little while, but it will drop off. we're in FHA, it won't drop off and they're tacking on additional fees. It's a good avenue to get people in who may have had like tough financial times and don't have the best interest or best credit, but are trying to get in, sure, but if you don't have to use it, don't.
Is there a reason you didn't refinance over to conventional after you finished the first renovation? I'm assuming.
Yeah, because the interest rates are crazy.
Yeah, the interest rates were back.
Wasn't that, how long was your first renovation?
We were done in 2022,
Yeah.
so they'd already started going back up.
From COVID levels.
Yeah, and we thought about refinancing during COVID when it went from like 3.5 to like 1, but at that point we had so much going on. I'm like, it's just 1%. But now I'm like, maybe we should have.
But
Do you know how much your, after a renovation, how much it appreciated, like based on like, you can spend like the 400K, and then I can be at 125 plus the 50 or?
Yeah.
So
all in, we're like almost 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got we had to get an appraisal to get the HELOC, and we got the HELOC after the first renovation. House appraised at 630 without even having to do anything to the downstairs unit.
Before the first one or before the second one?
Before the second one. So
Before
we
the
haven't
second
even
one.
gotten appraisal yet after the second
Yeah,
renovation.
and the outside's all done. It looks, I didn't have any pictures of the outside, but like
Yeah.
nice, clean soffits,
Building
lighting.
hasn't been appraised yet.
Yeah.
Or 133, 1890 something, 92, 93, somewhere around.
Yeah.
You have to review all the wiring, in that old.
We did not.
Some of
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Some of it.
We've done some of it.
We've
like-
done some of it, yes.
Oh yeah, we had to add a new panel.
Yeah, we did, new panel,
Yeah.
new circuits.
Yeah. Our electrical, the electrical permit guy, inspector, he was like, oh, okay, I'm checking off everything that you did for this new unit. Looks good. But looks like you had some work done 5 years ago that they never signed off on. So now that's your problem.
Yeah. So they held us up.
I did not like that man.
The
So-
inspectors of the-
But it was also the
Yeah, right.
electrician too, right?
Yeah, the electrician, because he didn't follow through with his job.
Yeah, he didn't close out the permit. That was the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
I got a house like that.
I'm gonna say plumbing, so
Plumbing, I know you get the bathroom, but.
So-
Anything else?
what has
no,
been
we're
done.
going to now.
So what's happened for each renovation, the old pipes have been removed, like in the bathroom, all the water supplying this area. But the original water line coming in is still, what, I think it's steel maybe?
Lead.
Oh,
Lead.
lead, yes.
Oh,
Yeah. But everything from coming out of the ground into the rest of the
No,
building.
the waste
all that's
pipe, waste pipe.
All that stuff's copper.
Did your, when they did your evaluation of the property, what, do you know what method they used?
That I don't.
I wasn't even there.
Yeah, I was present for it. I don't know what method they used. Is that on the report?
So.
That it gives to me?
If it's a assessment, like if you're looking at this as an investment property, you have your annual return for this, and then you have a cap rate.
Mhm.
So the cap rate's gonna tell you, okay, on average in this area, you yield 7%. So based on your full occupancy minus your costs, you're left with a certain amount.
Oh, yeah.
So that divided by the cap rate, giving you an estimate of what the average property should be worth based on an average return.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had a
Most
good
people
year.
Will show like just what sold in the area
Mhm.
relative to this. But like if your house is fully occupancy potential is 4,200. But the average occupancy potential in your area is 3,500, they're undervalued in your area.
I see what you're saying. Makes sense.
Interesting.
Okay. Based off of it.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. Now we have our member intros. We'll take a quick break after our member intros.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things about a member intros, we always like to go back to the beginning of the year to figure out like what our main objective was. Mainly for me to keep me accountable with my project that's not going so well.
I think this
And
one we want to.
and then we're also gonna ask for topics for next month, if there's any specific topics he wants to cover or anyone particular you want us to bring in. So yeah, I can go first. My name's Jonathan Clem. My recent update from my main objective was I want to flip 3 houses this year in Lyons. I need to complete my current project, which hasn't quite started yet because I decided to get architectural plans and the waiting game for the architect is real. And so I'm in that waiting game, although the tenant has pretty much moved everything out and he's actually started doing some of the work for us, which is great. But yeah, the project is going quite slow and I don't really have anything particular. Oh, for next topic, I was actually thinking I had a good one on mine, but it's not coming to me, so it'll come back to me. Yeah. Oh,
Let's go this way, maybe we always go
okay,
right.
great.
So I'm Jake Leisure. My objective this year was to find 3 properties for clients. Found 1 so far that we've got under contract, so 2 more to go, but third of the way there. A little bit more than a third of the way through the year, so I got some work to do, but I'm out there. So topic for next month, honestly, was going to crowdsource from you guys and want to see, you know, what you guys want to learn about. We usually have some pre-canned topics that we get, but we're switching it up and want to cultivate from the room what you guys want to see. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have one myself, but we'll see. We're gonna go this way. We usually go that way. So Reese, back to you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Louise Allen. My objective is to find a tenant so I can cash flow positive. I have some leads, so fingers crossed. I'm hoping to hopefully have something by July. Since now hypothetically, if I get someone by July, because the previous tenant I had ended in December and nobody likes to me for the winter. I think maybe, an objective is obviously to find a tenant. I think maybe a topic recommendation would be how to integrate AI, since that's what it's a topic right now.
Good
Because
topic,
I feel like there's just so many options, and if we could have like a crash course, that would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, great call. Great.
Hey folks, I am Kisha Washington. My goal has been, I completed a renovation in like fall or winter, and so I've been holding off until the seasons change to find a tenant. Now the leads are starting to come in. I had like a tour this morning and an interview this morning. I got a couple after. So hopefully I will find that last tenant for that particular building. And then move on to some other things. I'm supposed to get architectural plans for an ADU conversion, all that other good stuff, but I'm just one step at a time, one thing at a time, right? Let's see, as a topic, I don't know, I haven't thought about it, but that AI thing is really good. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you much. Talk to you later.
Hi, my name is Diana. I'm a local realtor, and then I got into real estate a couple of years ago. So I'm here to learn, and then technically it's my first time joining this type of event, so it's exciting. But I currently work with a lot of investors and also like the builders. So yeah.
You're in the right place.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
My name is Melanie. I am a lender. I work for a broker. And I guess my main goal is to help empower real estate investors, either whether it's your first time or your experienced investors, and help them find lending for their projects. And as far as the topic for the next meeting, I do like the AI idea. Yeah, so we're gonna go with that.
All good.
I'm all about efficiency.
Yeah, nice job, Reese.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan, and just to mitigate confusion, I wore a hat so that I guess there goes that, yeah. My objective, I was supposed to be a tyrannical on that, a lord of the land, ruling of iron fist. So I wanted to acquire property at some point. It's kind of slow, and there's been pretty hiccups personally and just the endeavor of acquiring like that first property. But you know, hanging there, coming back and learning and being more proactive in just real estate endeavors in general, and insert myself in different situations, and so I can improve my learning. Objective 3, I don't have a concise one as of yet, but as of information, I am embarking in different situations like so I can learn and just, sorry, I don't know, have a wait right now. But I'm just expanding myself as a resource as for anyone that needs work related to HVAC, masonry tuck pointing, storm restoration, roofing, siding, gutters, welding, etc. That's one thing I do. I like to find solutions in every problem, and that has come to me to come in contact with different people, different trades that can help out in many endeavor. So if you have any sort of issues or projects that need, resolution, then I may know someone, may come in contact with me. And just for me, I'm driven by solutions, and one less problem to worry about is having such a meeting. Thank you. Thanks, Sean.
Good morning, my name is Anya. This is my first time attending one of your events. I've been in real estate for about 10 years. For the past 5 years, I actually work on the side of title. So I see a lot of the back end of what happens during a transaction, and especially in this market, there's about a quarter of the transactions that happen in Chicagoland area are investor based. And we actually have a full investor department, and I always found it so interesting on how different or how interesting that can be with morning and afternoon closings and such. My mom is really interested in expanding her investment portfolio, and so I now would like to venture and actually learn more a little bit from, and also be a resource to anyone who has any type of questions. That's behind the scenes.
Morning, I'm Bernie, and I'm the next one, so, okay. I'm a realtor, I fix and flip, and I'm also a licensed contractor. You might want to think of me as a doctor, as I perform CPR, carpentry, plumbing, remodeling, and well, looking nice for next session or sessions to come out is how to find investors to give you money to help you go on with your project.
Private money.
Marcus Williams, recent update, 2026, I wanted to get at least one property done this year, so I'm currently refinancing my subject to property in Inglewood. I'm actually closing that here in a couple weeks with Imran, so it's only that done there. And then hopefully get a 3 flag back to the yards, pretty nice. And the objective to complete prior to next is just closing out that refinance.
So your first sub 2 deal?
Second.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Adil. Last time I was here in 2025, so this is my first one for the year. But great to be back. My goal was this year to do purchase 4 properties this year. In Q1, I actually purchased 3 properties. So I was like, okay, new goal probably. Finishing up, we're actually closing on 2 of our deals next week. Fingers crossed, hopefully close the turns out well. So we're gonna make some profits on that. And one of them, we're actually, of the 3, one of them is actually going to be rented out. So I have a couple of meeting appointments today to show the place. And yeah, my goal probably, hopefully the next cash flow is trying to get 2 more properties. We're looking for 2 more flips. So if anyone knows anything in the north suburbs, please let me know. I'll definitely take a look at it. Yeah, that's pretty much. And topic, I like the AI one, and then I did like the investor one. So those were the 2 ones I was like, okay, those are really good key topics we should definitely talk about. AI is especially not, I feel like AI is very under mentioned in a lot of real estate topics, so it's always good to talk about AI and what people are using AI for in real estate especially, so it's always good. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Aaron Zimmerman. Basically main objective for 2026 was just to kind of grow my CPA business and everything. I've gotten a lot of clients over the last 6 months and everything, so I'm happy with that. One objective to be completed before the end of the next Cashflow Breakfast Club. I'm having a kid, so I'm just trying to get as much sleep as possible now and just be ready for the kid to come out and everything. And to be healthy and to be supportive. And then a topic that would be just like in general, like systems for real estate investors. particularly along like rentals and everything, just how to systematize kind of each part of the business and everything, I think would be a good one.
All right.
Hey everyone, Joe Mendy, recent updates on 2026 main objective, which was to acquire one property, still working on that. Hopefully that'll happen sometime soon. Objective will be complete prior to the next one. Send some more meetups, hopefully meet some new people. That's about it, kind of keep working on that.
Good morning, my name is Samir Dishbu. Recent update, one of my objectives of 2026 was to acquire my real estate license, my retail license, so did that.
Nice. Right done. Done with the objective.
That's meeting, I'm not quite sure, maybe, multifamily rentals perhaps, like economy scale, like 4 units, 5 units, maybe something like that, that'd be interesting. Cool.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Dahl. This is my first meeting here. I'm a newly licensed realtor and a aspiring investor. My main goal for 2026 is to acquire my first property. And my main focus for the next month is I'm getting ready to list my first property next month. And so
Right.
folks
All
there.
right. All right. First, yeah. Turning up.
My name is Dean Savakis. I'm also a real estate agent. I concentrate mostly on commercial and business brokerage. I'm licensed both here in Illinois, but I'm basically in Florida. So I'm your Florida guy. One of my main objectives is I have a few deals that I have to complete here, 3 commercial contracts and one residential here in Chicago. One of the topics I think that would be very interesting for everyone here, I think for Aaron to make a presentation on how taxes affect your real estate cash flow. And because if you look like things like cost segregation, also with the big beautiful bill, you have a lot of advantages, even for many reasons. You might, even as a realtor, if you have a client that has a really big tax bill coming due, they can buy a piece of real estate and depreciate a big part of that and have the tax savings pay for that property. So I think that's a really big deal. Also, cost segregation, if you guys don't know what that is, that's like, instead of segregating and depreciating the asset over whatever number of years, 27.5 years, you do a depreciation of each piece of the property. That way you front load the cost of that depreciation. So it shows up as less revenue for that year. So what ends up happening is you get to keep a lot more of that money and reinvest it in real estate or whatever else you want to do. And then the good thing is you have a depreciating asset. Now, when you do a 1031 exchange later, you're never going to pay taxes on that because you're just going to roll it over into the next property. So I think that is how you're really going to be able to make money with real estate, because the margins have shrunk. There are a lot of people that are involved in this process. And you can't just, like our parents probably just needed to buy a building and retire. That's no longer the case. So I think that's an important part for any investor in real estate. Thanks.
Hey, hi, guys. My name is Alex. One thing, I think previously I came to the next meetup and I found some equity on some properties. I was able to open up a HELOC. That opened the door to do 2 projects that I'm currently doing. I was planning to do an ADU conversion, 2 of them, but I realized that it's very expensive to do ADUs. So if you have the space to do it, instead of doing ADUs, it's just duplexing the first floor to the second floor. That'll give you the ability to actually, go Section 8 on it. And then, obviously just make sure that there's regulations of Section 8 itself, obviously you have to have the 7-foot ceilings and whatnot. So it's a little bit less expensive to actually,
you know, do the whole conversion into one single unit instead of just duplexing down. So I got 2 projects that I'm doing with that itself. And then, so I haven't, you know, the first one I haven't really done, but I'm currently in one already, we got the layout already, framing is done, electrical is done, so, that's one thing that I've been working on. One topic that I would like to know about is, the ADU ordinance with Chicago itself. Know what type of like, yeah, it just changed. So what markets is it beneficial and the numbers make it sense in a way to do it or not to do it? For example, if you go to Lincoln Park, obviously that ADU will make sense, but that cost wouldn't make sense in Inglewood. You know what I mean? Because of the cash flow and then the cost of bill. So that would be an interesting topic for sure to actually get down into the numbers themselves.
Well, we've got some topics for you, my friend. We did that last session, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can.
Is it recorded?
It is recorded. I also have the slides that.
Maybe my suggestion.
Yeah, I'll email you the slides.
Situation is you.
I think I got your email earlier, Alex. I'll email you the slides. And then there's our speaker has a really great website as well, chicagocityscape.com, which has a ton of good info on there. I can email you the slides as well.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And it's recorded.
And we have it recorded.
It'll be on
for
YouTube.
sure. You should listen to it. So we can give you the links and everything. Stephen Vance, who is our speaker, in case anybody wasn't here, you know, probably a future policymaker, great guy, really knowledgeable. So great topic.
Hey, everybody, my name is Scott. So 2026, basically, I moved to Chicago in 2025, unwinding my previous life in Washington, DC, and that includes getting rid of properties that I owned in Washington, DC. So I'm happy to say that my final property in DC that I'm offloading went under contract on Thursday. So
Nice.
And at that point, I'll be looking to figure out what I want to do here in Chicago, and I'll be liberated from Washington. Liberated from Washington. In some sense. One objective to be complete prior to the next one. Yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll have this sign, maybe we won't. And then on topics, I think all these topics are good. I think AI is good. I think private money is good. I think all of that would work. So I don't have anything else. Yeah.
Cody Jones, we own a home staging interior decorating company, investor targeting Northwest Indiana now. 2026 main objective, I think I said, was to buy 3 rentals in Northwest Indiana. Placed one on Thursday.
All right.
With that being said, the seller still hasn't put the keys in the lockbox, so I still can't get in the house, so we'll see how that goes. One objective to be complete prior to next week. I had the opportunity to go to Nashville with some developers this week, and a new construction was kind of thrown on my plate. I know nothing about it, but my buddy does, so I was like, all right, cool. He asked me to raise the money, of course. So I have a meeting with an investor in California in 2 weeks, trying to raise some money to get some new construction off the ground. So hopefully by the next meeting, I have money in my pockets and we got a foundation in the ground.
And possession.
And I have my house.
Hello again, so Leanne, and one of my objectives for the year, because I was here, I think it was like the January session or something, was actually not real estate involved, but just personally investing. I mentioned being, when it comes to big money, I'm very scared. So my goal for this year was to invest $50,000 on the market. I have opened my accounts and working with the banks on transferring because they put up roadblocks for no reason. So by the next goal, I will have money moved over, not the full 50, but at least half of it, I think. So working on it and just trying to not be so scared of investing. So that's my thing there. My husband is really the real estate guy. Also echoing everything, I like all the topics. Another one would be like how to adequately or accurately like estimate renovation costs. We've done pretty well, like stay within budget for every time, but I'd like to learn more. I'm always interested in learning from like everybody.
Hello again, I'm Jerome.
for recent update for main objective, actually, I didn't have one in January when we were here. But we are in talks with our neighbor's place, right next door to that building that we showed you. We want to buy that place. And it's in need of a rehab as well. So I'll be able to keep eyes. The goal is to keep eyes on our first rental property. Literally looking out the window if I need to. One objective to be able to complete next to, before the next meeting, like someone said just a second ago, I mean, all of your topics are great. I don't have anything to really add to that. All right. I'm going next.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is J.D. McClary. Reside here in Chicago. Recent to real estate. Just got my license here earlier this year. I think my goal for 2026 was to buy a new primary residence. So I have my first child coming in a couple months. So I live in a loft in Lincoln Park with my wife that we own, so it's like a death trap to a child. So we're looking for a bigger spot with walls. So our goal is to buy a new primary residence somewhere in the Chicago, and then ultimately rent our place out in Lincoln Park. So, and that's going to take a little renovation, probably kitchen. I was talking to the wife about it yesterday. So that's going to add on to it, but eventually cash flow that place going on and find the next spot. And then one objective to be completed prior to the next cash flow. Honestly, probably develop and grow my network when it comes to real estate. Would love to just continue to branch out and grow that specifically. And again, I absolutely love all the topics as well. The tax conversation was something that really interests me. It's something that I continue to talk about with my wife and my close friends. So would love to hear more about that. Thank you.
Yeah. I got a topic actually based on, for next meeting, based on what you said, the roadblocks to renovating in a HOA, in a condo association.
Okay.
Because it's not just so you go in and do whatever you want, like there's so many rules.
Got it. I think it's a great topic, yes.
Hi, I think this is the first time I'm with this group. I'm not sure how you guys got my number, but I got an email from you and I thought it sounded interesting. So I came. I've been renovating a 2-flat in Andersonville, Edgewater. I have a similar thing is it Alex?
Yep.
Where I was going to duplex down into the basement until I found out about the ADUs. And I was delayed on it because I had a fraudulent title thing. So that's a whole nother story.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, paid for everything, but it took 3 years for me to get the property, which screwed a lot of stuff up, as you can imagine. So we have one of the apartments that's finished, rented. I tend to like midterm rentals. I started doing short-term rentals in California before Airbnb. So I like that because I can kind of get rid of people faster. But my primary thing is rehabs. So I'm finishing the first floor on my 2-flat and then I have some of the downstairs already started. So that's part of my objective is I've got to refinance like ASAP. So I have to at least get the first floor.
Got a lender over
So
here.
you can talk to me. So I have to have at least the value to get that, and then they can see that we're working on the downstairs. I want to do probably at least 2 more rehabs because I have one through somebody I know that I said, just give me time to get this first floor done and then we'll jump on yours. So and I'm willing to work with any other real estate agents here that might have properties that pencil for a rehabber. I also work in Florida. I currently have a residence in Tampa that's about to go on market. We're finishing a few things. And I just closed a Batavia residence here, like a 5,000 square foot house. That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
So I love rehab. The other thing, this is for Jay. I was buying, when I came here from California, I was looking for places I could get the same deals that I could get in California. And I found a kitchen store called Rock Counter, which I now own, and we discount to the public. So we should talk. If you're gonna redo your kitchen, I can help you at a good price because I started doing it because it was a good price for me. So, we're still doing the same thing. We're actually in Roscoe Village at Belmont and Wolcott. So, but that's, I guess, the ADU was going to be my suggestion, because I'm familiar with
Yeah.
ADUs to some degree from California, but not here. And like I said, I have the similar situation, but I'm in Edgewater, so the prices might be different.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because the duplex down was gonna be really expensive. I've already started it, but having to go from the first floor. Now I can get the first floor rented, probably. I have a rental actually for a midterm rental for July. And then I'll maybe be looking for somebody more permanent. But, you know,
How many more rooms can you fit down there?
depends if I save anything down there for storage or that. But I can put possibly 2 bedrooms. Originally, when I was gonna duplex down, it was gonna be more like a big bedroom and a bathroom with a steam shower, you know, I mean, this is Andersonville, so, you know, you go a little bit up on your scale. You know, it's got kitchenware appliances, you know, stuff like that. So, now I think I'm gonna make it sort of like a 1-bedroom downstairs with a nice, really nice bathroom with a steam bath, steam shower, and probably do more of a full kitchen, because that's not hard for me to do. So,
What's your name? I'm sorry.
what's that?
Your name?
Mary Ann, and the last name is Squares, which is spelled weird, Skweres. It's a Polish name, you know? I'm originally from Chicago. I got offered a job in California, actually, when I was working in the film industry. And then I came back here partially to fix this Andersonville project. And I've been here now a couple of years and really enjoying being back in Chicago. I consider myself bi-coastal,
There you
Lake
go.
Michigan and Pacific Ocean.
Well, I can email your ADU presentation. I'll get your email and send it.
Yeah, that'd be great. So anyway, I'm happy to meet all of you and hope to see you again. This is an interesting group.
Thanks. All right, we have 2 more.
Yeah.
You're up.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm sorry, I'm late. I've been about 45 minutes away, but I'm gonna walk south. And I said, oh, I'll still try to make it. I hope this is.
Oh, wow. That's actually clapping as well. Yeah.
I'm like Mary Ann, I have no idea how I got an email. I received a random email this week and I'm going through cleaning out my inbox. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is, but it sounds interesting. So I have, unlike many of you in this room, I have 0 experience in real estate, but I've always been interested in it, particularly in rehabs. So I think my objective before the next cash flow meeting would probably be learning to identify a good rehab.
Yeah, I think we got some good finish for you. Thank you. Okay. All right, we have 1 more, then we'll take a quick break. Jonathan Donnet.
Hi, my name's Michael. This is Casey. I'm gonna give you cash flow animal. So updates for 2026. My main objective is to still acquire the real estate license. Golf's even started, so I don't know, distracted, I guess. And one objective is obviously to complete that license. A long term for the rest of the year. It's acquiring first residence, do the rental, get it in the market. So that's some time left to get that done.
All right, well, we appreciate everybody getting up, introducing themselves. I know it's not easy. We usually go to about noon. We'll probably go maybe 11:50 noon, but let's take 10 minutes, coffee, donuts, network a bit. Then John's gonna come back and do rehab estimate for about 20, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Very okay.
Yeah,
no, we're gonna get through like 10 or 15 minutes and then have some more networking as we close. But I know a lot of people want to see the GC talk about rehab, so that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, yeah, just a little more background. What qualifies me to talk about rehab costs. I'm gonna go through all these really quick, but I actually went to school for construction engineering and then actually went to work for a big contractor for 10 years, learned all their principles like Marcus. we used to look at reports like this on a regular basis, which is about 220 pages of cost reporting and estimating. And so, yeah, that was my daily life for about 10 years. Then I went to a project in Oslo, Norway. If anyone can guess. Yeah, beautiful project. Anyone guess how much it costs? You don't get to guess right away, but anyone have an idea? Well, let me ask the first question. How much do we think we estimated it to cost? First question.
Or US or Europe.
500
For the whole building?
For the whole building. This is in USD. We have 500 million, 30 million, 50, 60. Okay, we estimated it to cost 150 million. Okay.
Oh, that's it.
How much do we think it ended up costing? What was it? 260, 175, 300. Bingo. It ended up costing $300 million. And that is what you call a busted estimate for a lot of different reasons. And we ended up, going into a lawsuit with the US government, who was our client at the time. But $150 million over our estimate. And so that is why I really think estimating rehab cost is important. And it's just a huge challenge, right? There's so many unknowns when we're going into rehab. And so I like to break things down as simply as possible. You have a question? Yes, sir.
Yes, how did you get to go to Oslo?
Well, we had a project in Oslo, and so they asked, I actually went there at the end more as a financial analyst, to go and help put our claims together. So I worked on our claims team to put the lawsuit together. And so, I went there at the end. So I actually wasn't part of the team that, took a long time to get it done. But there's a lot of challenges, working overseas, working in an embassy. There's a lot of like top secret clearances that have to be involved because you're working with a lot of the CIA and the Marines and things like that. So extremely challenging project.
This was a government contract.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a government contract. So.
Based in my tax stuff.
You could say the government wastes. Technically. And we, in the lawsuit, we did win 67 million, which is a pretty big win. 67 million is almost 50 cents on the dollar in the claims world, is a pretty good space. So what is renovation? I think it's a pretty general question, but I always like to start super granular or super simple to help everyone understand it more. But the definition of renovation is literally taking something old and making it new. So that's pretty much the definition of what we're doing with all of our houses. And then what is an estimate? Any ideas on what we would call an estimate? Projection, forecast, best guess,
Educate.
hypothesis, yes. I looked it up.
Some certain assumptions.
I looked it up. It actually means roughly calculate or judge the value, number, or quantity to an extent that you can. So an estimate is your best guess at the time. And also with the amount of information, at the time you have to provide the estimate, which is very key. When you're rushed to put together an estimate and you only have a certain amount of knowns, the amount of unknowns you have after the estimate is going to rise exponentially.
Isn't it based on a scope of work that you put together for the project that you get your estimate?
Correct. Yes, we're getting to the scope of work. So you nailed it, Mary Ann. Scope of work is probably the most important thing we need.
And then when it expands, so does the budget.
Exactly. So with any type of renovation project, we need to figure out what is there and what we're removing, right? The first step in any renovation is taking out the existing conditions. So the kitchen or the bath or the drywall, figure out how much of that there is to take out. And so, very simply, we can figure that out and, how many cabinets, how many square feet of flooring there is and figure out what we're taking out. And then we simply need to figure out what we're putting back in to replace the stuff that we took out. Is that tracking for everyone? Does that make sense? It's like, we're not building a rocket here, it's actually a very straightforward and simple process. We take everything out, we put it back. A lot of times we put back more than was there because there wasn't enough stuff there to match the existing building code. Because when you had a house that was from 1892, they didn't use insulation in the walls. They didn't have drywall. They had lath and plaster and chicken wire in the plaster. And so then we need to actually take all that out and then put insulation in, and then drywall, and then paint, and all these other things that go into our project. And we always want to do it in a pretty chronological order. Once we get out of, most everyone here was in elementary school, middle school. When do we learn order of operations in math, right? There's certain.
PEMDAS.
Yes. What was it?
PEMDAS.
PEMDAS.
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Yeah, I was good at math and I don't know PEMDAS, but anyways, so there's an order of operations in math, and there's definitely an order of operations in renovation. And when you get out of the order of operations, the numbers don't make sense anymore. And that works in math and in renovation, right? We get a lot of crazy numbers. So we always want to go through things in a pretty general framework. For us, it's really, we want to remove everything that's there. We want to do any type of anything with the shell or the foundation, the framing, any type of rough mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work. So that's everything that's behind the walls. We would call that all the rough mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And then we're going to put back like the interior of the shell, which I would consider the insulation, any fire caulking or blocking, which a lot of people skip in most of the renovations, and then drywall. And then we put back all the beautiful things which people like, and all of a sudden things look like they're going a lot faster when the cabinets and the flooring and the paint and the tile are going in, and everyone gets a lot happier once they see that progress. I know you guys did for sure. So basically, I already covered this slide, but the whole point of an estimate is we need to know two things. We need to know how long it's going to take to remove this stuff and how long it's going to take to put it back in. And we need to know how much the stuff we're putting back in costs. Yes, sir.
You said to remove the material. There's always a surprise when you remove the material. An absolute example is that you remove something from a house from the 1800s. You've got lead. You could have
Dead bodies. Dead bodies.
That's not in the cost, and that's always a surprise.
Yeah, there's mold, there's lead, there's asbestos, right? There's all these types of things that we wouldn't know is there until we open things up.
I wasn't joking about that. Like, I bought a building in Wrigleyville. Actually, it's a building where was it Wanted, the movie was filmed, like the guy was living in one of the apartments.
Oh, okay.
And we had to do some plumbing work, and we found some bones underneath.
Oh.
It stopped everything,
Okay.
and it was actually a dead horse. From the 1800s.
You know where that story's going, do you?
Well, we hope no one finds any dead bodies in the next demolition orders. But like Mary said, probably the most important thing is our SOW, our scope of work, which is what we should be developing before we, generate an offer or go into a project. And the scope of work is just going to be, what exactly are you planning on doing to the project? And what I found is most people don't know what they want to do because they don't know how much what they want to do costs, and that's going to have an impact on how much they're going to offer. And so having some general ideas on renovation costs, I feel like is very, very important for everyone, so that they can check people like me to say, no, that is way too low. That is way too high. Here's what we're thinking. Let's figure out a way to meet in the middle. So scope of work is probably the most important thing you can work on, because even if you don't know anything about the actual costs, you can take your crystal clear scope of work and you can give it to me, you can give it to Bernie, you can give it to someone else, and they're all going to tell you the cost of it, right? And then eventually, if you get enough information back from enough different people, you're going to be able to make sense of these different costs. And my estimate might have very little detail. Bernie's might make me look horrible and have tons of detail in this estimate. The more detail a contractor provides you, the more confident you should be that their numbers are pretty tight and buttoned up, that they're using their past experience, and tracking their numbers on how much things cost to update that to show what the expected cost should be. Because when you go through so many change orders and so many projects, you should be able to update your costs so that you're saving future clients more and more money because you can project more likely change orders. Does that make sense for everyone? Everyone, any questions about scope of work? Huh? Okay, beautiful.
Crystal clear.
Crystal clear. So I have some definitions up here on the board. Marcus can probably go through these lickety split, but I mean, this is really from the construction world that I come from, where I'm thinking about production rates and cost of material. So unit of material, we need to think about every material might have a different unit of measure, right? Tile, we want to know how many pieces of tile we're going to put on the wall. It's going to be measured in square feet. Same as flooring, same as painting. Something like this, the trim on the floor, would it make sense to measure that in a square foot? We're going to measure that in a linear feet, how long that is. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to build a plan, right? That's the easiest way to get a scope of work, is figure out how big this room is, figure out how many square feet it is, figure out how many linear feet the perimeter is, figure out the height of the ceiling, figure out how many lights there are. Lights are going to be measured in each, but the conduit going to the lights might be measured in linear feet. And we're going to put all of that information together and figure out how much time it's going to take someone to put all this material where it needs to go. Does that make sense, everyone? So we need to figure out how much time it's going to take to put someone in it and how much they should get paid to do that, right? Like Bernie might pay his guys $50 an hour. I might pay my guys $80 an hour, and Marcus might pay his guys $30 an hour, And so understanding what those labor rates might be for different people, and in Chicago, right? I think one of the things we learned about last month with ADUs is if you're going to do a coach house ADU, you have to use, does anyone remember?
Like apprentices?
Yeah, apprentice or union labor work or Davis Bacon wages, which is probably double, what a normal wage would be. So if you're going to do a coach house in Chicago, you need to take that cost consideration into place. So any other questions about these definitions? Like you can figure out what this information is. We can put in a nice spreadsheet, which we'll have on the next one, and then you'll be able to add everything together, production rate, that's how long it's going to take me to do something, right? So I need to know, basically, if I have 100 square feet, I need to know how many hours it's going to take someone to install 100 square feet, and then how much I'm going to pay that person per hour, which is going to give me a labor cost. And then I'm going to have to figure out how many dollars per square feet that material is. And then that gives me my material costs. We have our labor and our material. And everyone makes sense, right? It's not that hard, but it is very challenging. Yes, sir.
I think a big one is when you start the project with the guys, get the production rate up front. Because otherwise, you get a change earlier, they might try to charge you double what they would normally.
Yeah. I mean, any change order should cost more, right? No matter what,
Yeah.
than you would at a beginning project. Because essentially, we're stopping the contract that we signed and saying, hey, I want this something else. Now I stop what I'm doing and I go and try and find you this other thing. While this other thing, what we originally signed for, is not happening, right? So any change order, in my opinion, should cost more than it would if it was in the original scope of work, which is why it's so important to have a crystal clear scope of work before you start your project. Okay, so now you can just take all those definitions, put it into a clean chart like this, then we can get a total cost. So we can everyone can take a second to look at this, right? Like this is just an Excel sheet, very simplified. There's a lot of other materials and items that go on behind the scenes besides just tile, right? There's the grout that goes behind the tile. There's the metal edging for the tile. there's the mortar base for the tile, you know, and so we have to make sure all of those ancillary costs associated with tile or flooring or trim are covered within there. But this is a very generalized way that you could put together a rough estimate, you know, and so we're gonna take the unit of measure, we're gonna take the quantity of material. So we know that paint's in square feet, cabinets are linear feet, countertops are square feet. And then we're gonna take the material cost, well, that says dollars per hour, so it doesn't make sense, but we're gonna take the material cost and take this number times this number to get this number, right? So 26 linear feet times $100 a linear foot equals dollars, right? That's fractions, 2,600. And then we're gonna say it's gonna take 20 hours to install based on this production rate, 1.3 linear feet per hour. You also need to have this, right? Linear feet per hour. Then when you multiply hours times dollars, you get dollars. And then we add the material and the labor together.
Where does production rate come from? Again?
Like how are we figuring it out?
How you figure that out?
Well, when you did your renovation, you installed your floor. How long did it take you to install your floor?
Which floor are you talking about?
I don't know, just tell me a time. It took you 20 hours, right?
Sure, yeah.
It was 20 hours and it was 100 square feet of flooring.
Okay.
Right? So if it's 100 square feet of flooring divided by 20 hours gives you what? 5, bingo, 5 square feet per hour. Did everyone catch that?
That's taking
5.
that number and multiplying by the hourly rate that you're charging for it.
Want to say that again a little louder?
Taking the 5 and multiplying it by the rate that you're paying labor per hour. Because if they can install 5 square feet per hour, and you need them for 20 hours.
So we have 4 square feet per hour times $50 an hour equals $200. So we need to know how long it's going to take to put some stuff in, you know, and, you know, we can AI this and figure out just some general numbers, right? Of how much should I pay someone roughly to install my flooring? Okay, $75 an hour seems reasonable, you know, and you also have to consider, you're not just paying someone for the time it takes to install the flooring, but like, do you have the right tools to install the flooring? Because there's tools that you need to install certain things. And if you don't have those tools, you might be paying someone more who has the right tools, you know, and that needs to be factored into their labor rate. So if you're only paying them $30 an hour, but they have a bunch of tools that you need, maybe they should be charging you $40 an hour. Or they also might have the experience that you don't have. And then instead of taking Jerome 10 hours, it's going to take them 5 hours. So they're actually going to be going way faster. So they might charge double the rate, $100 an hour, but because their production rate is double Jerome's, the cost is going to end up being the same. Is that making sense to everyone? Yeah. Okay.
Insurance, licensing, all that's.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
One is the hourly, do you recommend now, obviously, like, I'm the investor, you're the contractor, but in some cases, it's hard to, even if you get an estimate, it's hard to get accurate estimates, let's say hours or something like that. Do you, what I've done in the past is I ask them, how long is it gonna take you to do this? And then I pay them for the project ahead of time, so I know what it should cost before they do the whole thing, because if a job would normally take 8 hours and someone takes 12 hours, 15 hours, you know, that shouldn't come out of my project, it shouldn't come out of that person's time. Does that make sense?
What's your question exactly?
So the question is, for those that have new investments, what would be your recommendation, or what would be pitfalls for the average investor that's starting out to do this and doesn't know, like, those questions, that ask those questions?
Well, I think the main thing is making sure you have a crystal clear scope of work. That'd be number one. And that when a contractor gives you an estimate, that is very clear exactly what you're paying for, you know, because someone might give you an estimate that says, you know, unit one, $40,000. Right? That's all you got is unit one, $40,000. Where Cody might give you an estimate, it says unit one, 40,000, and within unit one, there's 1,000 square feet of flooring, there's this much paint, this much of countertop, and then, you know, I did my homework as the contractor to say, I know exactly how much stuff is going into your place. Cause I'm not just pencil whipping and say, oh, I did a bunch of other places like yours and I know how much, which could be true. But when you're actually showing the numbers to the client,
So
then they
you
should have more
show-
confidence.
you Show a chart like this?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yeah, we line item out every. Every item. Now, we don't go into our production rates and our, you know, labor rates, you know, like those are all kind of also proprietary information, but we will categorize everything and say, okay, the plumbing is going to be $20,000. And here is the 8 items that are rolled up into that plumbing cost. Your faucets, your sinks, your toilets.
So those would be itemized, so everybody
Correct.
realizes that everything that you're looking at is being done.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the difference between what Dean is talking about from going from 8 hours to 12 hours, if it doesn't involve extra, I have to turn a wrench over here or lift this up or remove that.
Like a new item.
Yeah, like a new item, it should be all within the original scope of work then, I'm assuming, and then
Right, and
anything
then-
additional is a change order.
Right. And
We'll
then,
cover it.
and then anything that's taking longer is essentially cost on me, right?
Yeah.
But if,
But
but
it's
it,
paying people longer, so.
but if it's taking longer and then all of a sudden you're paying your mortgage, well, now you're also paying additional costs too, you know, so.
The second thing I wanted to, just for those that are investing, there are certain things that are associated with the contractor, but there are also certain things that as an investor, you should be aware of. Like, for example, a lot of the top items, tile, floor, trim, paint. Those are things that might be discontinued in the future. You might want to have some of those in inventory. Do you have a percent? And also there's loss because you have to cut, if, especially if it's not a square space, the more intricate, the more loss you're gonna have, like a 10% or 15%. Do you have like some basic guidelines for what?
Yeah,
you're-
for
like,
waste
me-
percentage, yeah, we use somewhere between 5 and 10%, but depending on the type of material, you know.
So, but you also, so this is one thing that's important, so you'll do that, but as an investor, you might wanna have more tile. Because something breaks, you might not be able to buy the same tile, now you gotta redo the tile.
The whole.
All the time.
So like, that's something that obviously as a contractor. You know, it's not within your scope, but I just wanted to mention that because it might be something that people want to keep in mind, and like the same color paint.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is if you're gonna continue to do projects, not just one, you know, like it makes sense to write down what SKU number you used on that project and maybe say, this is gonna be my SKU number of paint for every single project, right?
Yeah.
Now you know what the cost was from your past project. You're not changing those numbers. You know the tile was $2.50 a square foot, and then you can easily go to the next project and say, I'm pretty confident at what these numbers should be because I did the exact same materials, and now I only need to increase the square footage because that old house was 1,000 square feet. This one is 1,500, and so anything that would, you know, increase by a square footage needs to be increased, right? You're shaking your head, you know, like use the same stuff again. Like it's very easy. Write down your SKU numbers that you use for Home Depot. And you can link that stuff from an AI agent, right? And the AI agent can go grab what that cost is in real time and plop it back in here, and you can keep these numbers and you can repeat over and over and over again.
Uniform framework to use as reference, like, future analysis.
Streamline your process.
I think I wanna add to just even when you're scaling the real estate itself, when you go more than 10 and more than 20, that right there, what you just said, is very, very important because square footage, paint, tiling, all matters. to have that with your crew, send it to the crew, and crews already know what to grab for you.
Even keys, so you might want to use the same type of door locks and everything. So you can have a master for all your units. So you wanna make sure, so you're not carrying this many keys, and then you can use that one master skeleton to use for all the doors in the house, but also maybe for most of your units.
Well, I think what you're saying too is like the key to scaling anything, right? Whether it's in real estate or business, is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, you know? Because then what you can do is, now you've done it once, you figured out some things didn't go right. Now you're starting to document the process that says, here's exactly what I want you to do, tile people. Here's exactly the material I want you to use. And you give that to them, they know exactly what to do. Now you use the same guys over and over and over again. It's not that hard for them to do the same thing over and over again. Now, what's really challenging about my position is I'm doing everyone's different project every time. And it's very, very challenging to take on more and more projects with different complexities where you're digging a basement or adding a second story or doing a cosmetic rehab, and you have some guys here and some guys there and some guys there, that the key is doing the same thing over and over and over again. If you want to do condos, just do condos. If you want to invest in Northwest Indiana, just invest in Northwest Indiana. If you want to do single family, just do single family. I gotta say, if there's any biggest mistake I've made, it's buying tons of different properties in tons of different places, right? I have a condo in South Loop, I have a condo in Libertyville, I have two units in Greater Grand Crossing, I have two units in Logan Square, I have a 19-unit building in Cicero, I had a 26-unit building in Greater Grand Crossing. It's everywhere, and it's all different types of sizes and shapes of properties. You know, the key to all of this is staying focused in one lane and doing the same thing over and over and over again.
But that's not fun.
That's not how I felt.
I mean, that's.
So we kind of touched on most of this actually, right? Standardizing rehab costs, taking your SKU numbers down, right? You know, the biggest key is, right, documenting the stuff, right? Keeping your receipts, putting your receipts in, seeing how much things cost, right? And documenting it, putting it in an AI model and making that AI model smarter so that next time you go do your rehab, you can ask the AI model, oh, I have a square property that's 1,000 square feet. What should my range of costs be? I kind of explained why renovation sucks already, you know? It's a lot easier in all honesty when you're doing it for yourself because you only have yourself to blame. When you start doing it for other people, you know, it's just a very, very big challenge. I don't recommend anyone to go in the general contracting space. Same with property management. I just think those are two just ridiculously challenging spaces to grow and scale a business and not get beat over the head so many times that you want to quit, which I felt that many times. And yeah, so that's my very quick overrun on how to estimate rehab costs. There's obviously a ton of other things, right? Even that table that we looked at, you know, which I think is very helpful. Like this is just like the inside cosmetic stuff, right? Like now we're talking about, how about your roof? How about your foundation? What about the footings? What about the concrete? I want to dig my basement out. What about the under drain in the trim and my basement's leaking? You know, I want to do a 4-unit, and 4 of the units have all different layouts, and I need to redo the stairs, and you know, the stairwell needs to go here, not there, and we need to put in new LVL beams, and the amount of complexities that come with different projects is just extreme, is what I'm trying to get back to. And you know, I'm still trying to figure out how to estimate rehab costs, right? And I've done this over and over and over again, and it's a very, very challenging process.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Sorry, naturally, and I don't mind if I'm pivoting you in a different direction, but as far as when you're getting a lot of estimates and whatnot, you know, you're getting projections, how do you scout out those subs to, you know, do these jobs? And what is the process for general contractors to vet these subcontractors to get these jobs done? What's your?
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
say, like for an investor myself, I'm always trying to sometimes I don't use general contractors, I just go straight to the subs. And subs sometimes leave you with the keys and they don't get nothing done, and you know, they run off, and it's kind of hard to get those guys out.
Sometimes. That's every week for me, right? Like, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, you know, reviews, referrals, you know, I mean, accountability, meeting with them, just like talking with them, like the amount of subs we've gone through is like endless, right? Like every time I'm driving and I see a truck, I take a picture of it, I put it into our Slack channel, it goes into a Google Drive, and we have a database of subs that we call and work through on a regular basis. But like, there are so many of them that, you know, you never know how it's gonna work. And I mean, my biggest advice too is like, don't try a brand new sub out on a really big project, right? Like we've learned that the hard way several times where, you know, we're stuck holding the bag, right? Like it's our reputation, you know, and there's been so many times where it'd be easier to walk away from the job than finish it because someone else committed to something and then they're not finishing it for us, you know? That's the biggest challenge is when I'm relying on the plumber to show up and then he doesn't show up because he underbid the work because he didn't know his numbers, you know? And so when you get these investors that are trying to push you into these low budgets, which has happened to us so many times, you know, and then all of a sudden we push subs into a low budget, guess what happens? People start running off and then the project doesn't get done. And so that's my second biggest tip of advice is to just like know the numbers well enough that you're not trying to squeeze every dollar out of people, because then what you end up leaving is, you know, the money on the table because you can't get the job done.
I want to add to that, and that's a very, very good point. And it's almost better sometimes, even if you know what you're doing as a contractor, which I don't. But even if I did, if I'm not doing a lot of contract work up here in Chicago, I would rather pay a contractor to take that responsibility. Why? Because that's all they do. So they know the tile guy that's gonna show up. And the tile guy will show up for him. He might not show up for me.
Relationship.
You know, because he's gonna get tons of work from him for the next 10 years or whatever. Also, when someone gives you, and it's subcontracted, they give you a really good price. What do you think's gonna happen if they give the next guy a little better price? Your project gets knocked down their list, and they're not gonna start yours until, or finish yours until the one that gets more money for them is finished. Because they're working, they're also, they're business people too. They're trying to make.
Well, most of them aren't business people. That's the problem, right? They were good at doing a skill and then slowly fell into running a business and never had the, you know, education to figure out how to run a business, right? And then what happens is they're going from job to job to job to feed their family. And, you know, can I blame someone for going somewhere else to get more money? Like, I mean, kind of, but like kind of not at the same time, you know?
My point is they're not gonna do it to you the way they would do it to me.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many times they've done it to me too. Yeah, Marcus.
We have kind of vet the guys, because then I work with a new company and started from scratch. It's the standard we have the guys we use, we know they're gonna show up every single day, so I'm giving them $10 million worth of work, so they're gonna show up, man. But for the new company, brand new, I basically went to every single job, like, I went to the sub and I said, hey, what jobs you guys working on right now? And then I'm like, okay, let me go look at the work you're doing right now. So I go to 6 of the other properties, looking at, and what they're doing, look at their quality, see how much work they actually got going on. And then they got 10 projects going, I'm not gonna hire you because I know you're not gonna come to my job, so you guys know how it's going.
Yeah, that's actually one of my best tips too, is go see some of the work that they're doing, you know? And even for us, right, like, I mean, you can see, you can go on any virtual walkthrough or anything, but yeah, go look at the work that they're doing, you know? How many guys do they have on the crew? You know, what tools do they have? That's another good way I look is like, do you have the right tools for the job? You know, if my carpenter doesn't bring a table saw and he's, you know, cutting doors, like he doesn't have the right tools, it's gonna be a good indicator that he's not gonna be the best fit.
And Marcus, you're basically judging their quality, but also their capacity at that point, right?
And then sometimes too, the licensed guys, most of the time they got a bond capacity to it, because when they do bigger jobs, they have to bond them. So I say, what's your bonding capacity? And then they say, oh, I got $1 million worth of work going and my bonding capacity is $1.5 million. It means you get pretty close to the max you can do anyway, so.
Yep.
Questions? Yeah.
Well, no, this is part I shamelessly advocate for myself for a bit, especially considering like the nuances that are addressed between like how do you, scale the scope of work, how do you find out people that, do the work,
how to measure, and evaluate the cost and stuff of that nature, and that's something that I'm pretty much challenged myself on do and have done in different capacities, like either doing myself or overseeing work of people, working like plumbing, HVAC, masonry, tuck pointing, et cetera. And so I think I have like a, collective skill set to, measure these. And also that's why partly, want use, allow myself to use asset resources, some of these things, like if you have a, issue with HVAC, I do have like a, strong, a team of people that, you're saying, well, know what they're doing. I've seen some of the projects, they, I help me, some of my endeavors as well, so I can attest to, the quality of their skills and again.
So what you're saying is that if someone needs help, you can get out there and check out what they're doing.
Yes, so itself, I can, people that I can test that with the skills. I'll show, again.
I might personally be hitting you up very soon for today. So, the last thing I want to touch on is, this is just a document that we started putting together because we revised our process too, is because anyone who thinks that they're going to come out to the job and tell you it's going to cost $10,150, that's a bad example, $100,000, $150, I just think they're lying to you. And that's why we come up with more of a range for the clients first. And then once Jerome was like, okay, that range of 100 to 120 works for me. Okay, now let's spend a little bit more time, get a crystal clear scope of work and get into all the details. So I think figuring out, a range is a very helpful thing to do as an investor too, because then if that range works with the budget and the loan that you have, then you can kind of continue to move forward in that process.
Yeah, one way that,
No, you're good. Go ahead.
one way that we always have approached things is, what's the worst case scenario? And can we live with that? And then if the answer is yes, everything else is just butterflies and rainbows, because it's gonna get better than the worst case scenario.
Real quick, is there a template that you could recommend for people to estimate, low, medium, heavy rehabs, especially in a market where houses are flying like hotcakes, right? Like for me to be like, hey, Jonathan, I looked at this, can you come by and look at this and give me a scope of work? The house could be gone in that time frame, right? So like, is there a way to estimate like, hey, I'm on site, I know this house is 1,500 square feet, like a light rehab is $15 a square foot, a medium rehab is 25.
Yeah, so we actually have something on our website called like the rehab matrix, right? And it actually says like condo, single family, 4-unit, and gives you square footage pricing. And that's like another way to get that range, right? Is say, okay, I know a cosmetic renovation is gonna be $50 a square foot, roughly. Okay, so if it's 1,000 square feet, we know we're gonna be at 50,000 plus or minus 10, 15K, but I have tons of things. If anyone needs anything, I can give you tons of these spreadsheets and tons of the stuff, but like, it's the numbers that people put into the spreadsheets that matter, and knowing that, you can rely on the numbers is the most important thing. So should all be up there, right? Well, everyone should know how to get a hold of me. If you don't, you can find me after. Yep, Jonathan at Quality Builders. And that's it.
20, our next one. Hope to see you guys out there. We will look at the topics you all mentioned. But thanks a lot for coming to this one.
Hey, a group photo too,
Oh yeah,
right?
always forget. Group photo.
Do you have someone for blacktop or?